Hey y'all, how y'all doing tonight? I'm coming on to give my review, my opinion on Love and Marriage Huntsville this past episode. Um, and I'm just not going to go through it word by word, but I do remember specific parts of it. And I'm going to start with Letitia and her cousin Kiki when they actually met at Black to discuss what Kimmy had told Letitia as far as her not being at Mel's Christmas party. But Letitia came up quite a bit at that party that she wasn't invited to. Now, they got into it as far as uh, Letitia was like, well, you said some things about me, Kimmy told me or whatever. And Kiki was like, well, yeah, because, you told some of my business. And Letitia was like, I told some of your business. That was 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And you're bringing it up now. We stayed on the phone for 3, 4 hours discussing that. And Kiki said, yeah, you apologize for it. Letitia kind of doubled back a little bit and she was like, so you're going to believe what someone else tells you on top of what I've told you already about the situation. So Kiki in her rainbow bright fit, um like wow. And I wonder what it truly was that Letitia and Marcel felt the need to tell Martell and Melanie about Kiki, um, for them to have to even bring it up, So I'm thinking like some felony stuff allegedly. I don't know. We're all wondering at this point. So, but it kind of bothered me that Letitia was so quick to be like, let's just go ahead and cut ties. Like Tisha feels like this relationship, although they're blood related, this relationship doesn't mean that much to her where she can actually go ahead and be like, we're good. We don't even have to keep going back and forth. I don't want nothing else to do with you. Girl, bye. Right? And I don't know. That kind of makes me feel a type of way. And that kind of speaks to Letitia's character. Although we don't know Kiki well enough to make any type of real judgment on their relationship. Even though we've seen her in previous seasons, trying to speak on Letitia's behalf, at Letitia's graduation party that Marceau had for her a season or two ago. And I'm going to go back. And so I'm done with that. But I'm going to come back to it. But when Marceau and Big Louis, and Maurice actually had a sit down at the lounge. And, Marceau was adamant and very direct and stern to Big Louis. Like, you have no right to speak on my marriage. You don't even know me well enough to speak on my marriage or whatever. And as much as, Marceau may not be my most favorite person or whatever, I kind of agree with him. Not even kind of, but I do agree with him. You know what I'm saying? And Big Lou was like, well, we have history. I've known you before. Yeah, you knew of me, what Marceau said, but you don't know me. I'm big on that too. People like to think because they know you, they might have spoke to you a time or two, that they have the right to kind of speak on whatever you're dealing with in your personal life. And I got a big problem with that because people do that all the time or whatever. I'm a very private person. So for Marceau to say that, I totally agree with him. But as far as Big Lou is concerned, he had all this rah-rah when he was having a conversation with his wife, Tiffany, about, I can handle him and we can handle each other. And if we're men, we're going to talk as men or whatever. But then when you get with the men, you kind of punked out a little bit. You kind of punked out. Um, and you was ready to go once the heat was brought to you. And Maurice, he did say, he did play devil's advocate when he told Big Lou, well, what if you walked in and me and Marceau was sitting here talking about you and your wife and your marriage or whatever? How would that make you feel? And Big Lou was like, okay, well, yeah, I kind of get that. But then Maurice, having his own issue or strife with Marceau, he told Marceau, don't you think you owe Big Lou an apology? Because you came kind of strong on him or whatever. And Marceau, he was like, well, do you think I came on strong? I was bullying you or whatever he said, y'all. Because, I'm just going by memory at this point. And Big Lou says, well, I mean, if you think you want to give me an apology, then that's fine. But if you don't, you don't. What? Come on, Big Lou. Come on, Big Papa. Come on, Sugar. Come on, because you was obviously, not happy the way this conversation was going, because you have to know how it's going to come out. How it's going to come out to the viewers or whatever. You have to know how this is going to look. And it kind of made you look like a little punkish. I'm not calling you a punk by no means. But you kind of, you didn't stand up the way I thought you would have stood up after having that whole conversation with your wife or whatever. You guys have to be accountable. If you're going to say something, stand in it. You know what I'm saying? Just like Marceau did. Like I said, Marceau is not my most favorite person, whatever. But the way he handled you, Lou, I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him at all. Because he was passionate. He's passionate about his marriage. And he let that be known to you. And if you were so passionate about how you felt about him talking to your wife, the way you were talking to Tiffany, and when you came to have this sit down with him, and then you kind of just sat down on that. Like you didn't stand up the way I think you should have stood up. If you're going to come with all this energy on one scene, I'm going to need you to bring it fully on the other scene. That's all I'm saying. So, moving on back, because, I'm going backwards, you guys. I hope you can keep up with me or whatever. Tiffany and Kimmy. You guys, I love Kimmy. I just love Kimmy. And her last name is Grant. I don't know. My mother her maiden name is Grant. So I don't know. Maybe there's some relation. I don't know. But anyway, I just love Kimmy. I love the way Kimmy articulates. I love the way Kimmy handles situations or whatever. And I saw online, a lot of people were saying that Kimmy was just really messy the way she brought the information to Letitia. I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all as her being messy, because we didn't get the full, y'all don't mind Bello, but we didn't get the full whatever of that scene. We might have gotten maybe 10 or 15 minutes of what that whole Christmas party consisted of, the talk, the conversation. And Kimmy was clearly uncomfortable. She was clearly uncomfortable, from what we saw, that Letitia wasn't here to defend herself. And of course, I think she did the right thing by, Letitia's family, regardless of what. So I'm going to definitely let Tisha know. And before she let Tisha know, she told Letitia that she explained herself from the reunion or whatever, when she was like, in any other circumstances, would you be friends with Letitia? That was the question that was asked by Carlos King. And Tiffany, I'm sorry, you guys, but Kimmy said no. She didn't have a chance to explain that on the reunion or whatever. So she took this time to explain why she said that. Because and from what Kimmy said, I don't have time to keep going back and forth with people. And I kind of get that too. Ain't nobody got time to keep going back and forth. Everyone has their opinion. I'm going to have mine, and you're not going to change it. And that's just what it's going to be. So she apologized, or maybe she didn't, but she explained her situation to Letitia as far as that was concerned. And Letitia was happily, and of course, Letitia's already always ready to move forward. Letitia is the most moving forward and leaving things behind type person that I've ever met, but still bringing things up and holding on to certain things is what I see. Now, saying all of that, I think Letitia is beautiful, and this has nothing to do with anything, but you cannot ignore Letitia and her beauty. And I just love Marcel better act like he know. He needs to act like he know, because if you have women out here who are straight, let's be clear, who are admiring how beautiful his wife is, he may not need to take that for granted. Okay? And that's all I'm saying. Okay, so I'm glad they worked out. Need to see more of Destiny. You kept your life private the first two seasons, and now I think you're seeing how lucrative this could be for you to kind of expose yourself a little bit. Expose yourself and what's going on with your sugar. A lot of people did not like you. I had no problem with Destiny. I'm gonna be honest with you. I felt like Destiny was a real friend. And just a side note, you guys, and I just want to say this, because I don't see anybody else saying this, but this is honestly how I feel and felt about Destiny and Letitia becoming like friends. I feel that, Destiny was like, at the reunion, she didn't know how her friendship, or where the friendship lied between her and Mel. Okay. And Mel has since, of course, come out and said, well, look, girl, ain't nobody got time to talk to you 24/7. I got 4 kids, I got businesses, I got this, I got that. And she didn't say that, but it was implied. And I get it. I ain't got time to talk to my friends all the time. And that's okay. I don't love you no less. And I hope you don't love me any less. But anyway, so with all of that, and then for Kimmy to say at the reunion as well, well, if me and Tisha were not family, probably wouldn't have a relationship with her. We probably wouldn't be friends. So I can see how those two could come together, and I know a lot of people think loyalty, or feeling that the loyalty of the dynamics of the couples, their relationships amongst one another, how it should be solid. But, it's life. And I look at Letitia and Destiny as being two women who were riding for their girlfriend, their sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were riding for them or whatever. And they wanted that relationship to be tighter than what it was. They wanted them to feel how they felt about the friendship. And so once that wasn't reciprocated, then they formed a bond of their own. Now, Mel may look at it as, somebody being shysty behind her back, but, people have to grow. People have to grow in their own way. Just like Mel was able to be like, you know what, you guys, or you know what the situation is, I don't want none of y'all around me right now. And I completely understand Mel. I don't want to deal with none of y'all right now. Destiny went through a divorce, a marriage, a pregnancy, and a divorce in a matter of a year, from what I can tell, to now she's trying to hold on to what she has. You know what I'm saying? And Mel wasn't able to give her that at that time. You know what I'm saying? So even with Letitia, she had to get off social media because she realized there's some mean and hateful people in the world, and that people will say any and everything. And Kimmy really wasn't trying to be in that same space with her, not to that extent. So I feel like Destiny and Letitia, they kind of came together. They formed an alliance together, a friendship or whatever. Not necessarily to tear anyone down, but just because they need that. And some people need people, to help them. And I think that's okay. Kimmy has Maurice, her husband, and she wants to work on that. That's her focus. Mel has her career and her kids. And let's be clear, she had to deal with Martell. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna have to give each and every woman, I feel like every one of these women kind of need to be separated from each other and from the group and looked at strategically and just individually to understand like where they're coming from. But and I'm gonna leave it at that. I think I could talk about something else, but I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know how you feel about what I said, and if you thought about the same things that I thought about, because I've been listening to a lot of stuff and I see people, they talk about it, from beginning to end. I just wanted to kind of hone in on what I felt was more important and what I've noticed. And let's agree to disagree, or let's agree to agree, and let's just have fun doing it. And I wish the whole cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville nothing but the best, because they all deserve it, even Martell. uh but it's all good, you guys. So thank you so much for listening, and I appreciate you guys, and I'll come back soon. Bye.